Thank you once again, folks. Thank you for joining me for another video for your English Premier League betting tips and predictions. I hope you're having a wonderful game week so far. In the previous weeks, that is, and this year we're gonna take a few days off. I just needed to play some knockout football, some cup competitions. Yeah, and we're gonna come back here on the 3rd of February. Yeah. So we're gonna start on a Friday. I'm gonna start with Chelsea versus Fulham, and I'm just gonna come straight in and give you my predictions for this game. As well as the usual, I usually give you well, for anytime goal scores, I might not be able to give you anytime goal scores for these games. I usually give you anytime goal scores. Here we're not going to have them. We're not going to have the odds and all of that jazz. So I'm just gonna have to give you winners, number of goals expected, and a predicted scoreline. Yeah, wherever the scores are available, the anytime goal scores are available, then I'll give you them. Yeah. So Chelsea to win here for me, and I'm expecting both teams to score as well. In terms of double chance bet, I'll go with either to win and both to score. Predicted scoreline here, I'm saying Chelsea to win this one, 2-1. In terms of the handicap system, I'll go ahead and I'll take Chelsea to win by a goal, but then take a draw for obvious reasons, right? So recapping predictions here for this game, Chelsea versus Fulham. I am expecting Chelsea to win here, and I'm expecting both teams to score. In terms of a double chance bet, I'll go with either to win and both to score. Predicted scoreline 2-1 in favor of Chelsea, I do believe. And in terms of the handicap system, I'll go ahead and take a draw here, alright? Anytime goal scores for this game, I just see I don't have any stat here to build my anytime goal scores, so I'm just just the usual folks. The usual folks. For Chelsea, you're gonna have the usual guy, Kai Havertz, and all of those. Sterling is out. Aubameyang not in very good form. For Fulham, you usually have Mitrovic, and you have William, you have Paulina, and all that. So those guys will be available. Yeah, but anyways, for this game here, I'm expecting Chelsea to win, and I'm expecting over 2.5 goals, and I'm expecting in terms of a double chance, you could go with either team to win and both to score, right? And that's $2.80 if you do so, right? So moving on to our next game, and the next game here will be Everton versus Arsenal. Everton now in search of a new coach. Frank Lampard has been fired. That was expected. Just say that match between them and West Ham, it was being referred to as El Sacchio, and so therefore I think David Moyes is still at risk of being sacked as well. So yeah, it's just unfortunate for Frank Lampard. I think maybe he's gonna have to find himself at a team in the championship that's good enough, and then he just come up with that team, and then somebody who is willing to invest, and then he invests. The only issue I have with Frank is that sometimes he tends to Anglanize his starting lineup. So anyways, but let's get out of that. That's not what we're here to discuss. Arsenal versus Everton, and for Arsenal versus Everton, I'm expecting Arsenal to continue the winning ways. And in terms of both teams scoring, I'm gonna say no. That should not be the case in this one. Double chance, either team to win and both not to score. Predicted scoreline here, I'm saying Arsenal to take this one 3-0. Otherwise, I win by about 2. Right, in terms of the handicap system, Arsenal to win by a goal. As you know, the usual suspects for Arsenal in terms of scoring, you have Eddie Nketiah, you have Saka, you have Odegaard, you have Martinelli, and Jesus should be making his way back, but I think that's gonna be maybe the end of February, maybe March. Yes, I'm not expecting him to be a part here. So recapping predictions for Everton versus Arsenal, I'm expecting Arsenal to win. I'm expecting both teams not to score. In terms of combination bet, double chance bet, I'm expecting Everton or Arsenal to win and both not to score. Predicting scoreline 3-0 in favor of Arsenal. And in terms of the handicap system, I'm going here and taking Arsenal to win by a goal. Right. So moving on to our next game, and our next game is going to be Aston Villa versus Leicester City. And no, Brendan Rodgers is under some serious pressure, and I think if he loses this match against Aston Villa, he could be out the door. But I'm gonna give Aston Villa the win here. I think Aston Villa they're coming together nicely, and I think they'll be doing a bit better than Leicester City. Way more consistent than them over the last 5 games, I would say. So Aston Villa to win for me here. Both teams to score. In terms of combination bet, you go with either to win and both to score. Predicted scoreline, Aston Villa to win this one 2-1. In terms of the handicap system, taking Aston Villa to win by a goal, we take a draw for obvious reasons. Right, so recapping predictions here, and I'm saying Aston Villa to win, both teams to score. In terms of a double chance, you go with either team to win and both to score. Predicted scoreline 2-1 in favor of Aston Villa. And on the handicap system, I'm gonna have to go with a draw. Alright, as usual, the usual suspects for scoring here. You have Ollie Watkins, you have Danny Iggs, you have Young Bailey, who's in good form so far. You have Ramsey, who can score for you as well as McGinn. He can pop up and do something for you as well. Leicester City, Jamie Vardy always has a goal in him, as well as Yuri Tillemans and also Barnes and Shrewsbury Hall, and as well as Daka. Yeah, those guys in Nacho as well. So any of those guys could score for you at any point in this game, right? So those are my predictions for Aston Villa versus Leicester City. Now we're going to move on to our next game, which is Brentford versus Southampton. Southampton making a little bit of a resurgence, somewhat, fine a bit, but they're still in a deep spot. Yeah, they're still in a deep spot. Yeah, and so therefore they are going to have to fight until the end of this season if they want to stay up in the Premiership. But for this game, I'm going to say Brentford to handle business here, especially if Tony comes in and he's playing like he's playing, then Brentford should win here. Brentford to win, both teams to score. In terms of a double chance, I'll say either team to win and both to score. Predicted scoreline 3-1 in favor of Brentford, and the handicap system, I'm going to take a hit. Brentford to win by a goal, right? So, recapping predictions for Brentford versus Southampton, I'm expecting Brentford to win. I'm expecting both teams to score as well. In terms of a double chance, I'll go with either team to win and both to score. Predicted scoreline 3-1 in favor of Brentford, and in terms of the handicap system, I'm going to go ahead and take Brentford to win this one by a goal. It says, the usual suspects in terms of scores for Brentford. You have Wissa, you have Mbouma, doesn't score a lot, but he's always there with the opportunity to score, as well as Ivan Toney, and you have others around the team there, yeah? In terms of Southampton, you have Shea Adams, you have young Adam Adams as well. You have Shea Adams and young Adam Armstrong, and you have Mara as well, and you have you have Ward Prowse. He seems to be in a little bit of a role, so you have to watch out for him as well. Yeah, so those are my predictions for Brentford versus Southampton, and then we're going to move on over to Brighton versus Bournemouth. Bournemouth look like they're set to go back to the Championship based on how they have been performing and the kind of results they have been getting. So I think they'll end up back to the champion. Brighton flying very high, a very tough team to come up against, and so therefore I don't think it will be any easier here for Bournemouth. Yeah, so Brentford to win here, not Brentford, I should say Brighton and Hove Albion to win here over Bournemouth, so they to win, and I'm saying both teams score. And in terms of a double chance, I go with either team to win and both to score. Predicted scoreline, I'm saying Brighton to win this one 4-1. In terms of the handicap system, I'm going to go ahead and take Brighton to win this one by a goal. Alright, so recapping predictions here, folks. I'm expecting Brighton to win and expecting both teams to score as well. In terms of a double chance, I'll go with either team to win and both to score. And in terms of predicted scoreline as well, I'm saying here Brighton to win this one 4-1. And in terms of the handicap system, I'll go ahead and take Brighton to win this one. Alright, so those are my predictions for Brighton versus Bournemouth. And now we're going to move on over to Manchester United versus Crystal Palace. And for this here game now, I'm expecting Manchester United to eke out another victory here. I'm expecting both teams to score. And in terms of combination bet, I go with either team to win and both to score. Predicted scoreline 2-1 in favor of Manchester United. Hitting on over the handicap system, Man U to win by a goal. We'll take a draw here. The three-way handicap system again, folks. Remember to take note of that. Not all betting sites or betting partners give you the option of a three-way handicap system. Yeah, it might be there, but you have to search for it some of the times. Yeah, but if you're using that way, it is pretty straightforward, as you can see here in this video clip. Yeah, alright, and so recapping predictions for Manchester United versus Crystal Palace. I'm expecting Manchester United to win. I'm expecting both teams to score as well. In terms of a double chance, I'll go with either to win and both to score. Predicted scoreline, I'm saying 2-1 in favor of Manchester United. And in terms of the handicap system, based on our scoreline, then we're going to take a draw. Alright, and so now we're going to skedaddle over to our next game, and our next game would have been Wolverhampton Wanderers versus Liverpool. And for Wolverhampton Wanderers versus Liverpool now, I'm saying this game, Liverpool to find themselves. It's not going to be easy against Lopetiki's side though. Liverpool to win, I'm expecting both teams to score as well. In terms of a double chance, I'll go with either team to win and both to score. Predicted scoreline, Liverpool win this one 2-1. Wolves is not an easy side to get past at home, so I'm taking Liverpool to win by that goal in 3. Liverpool win by a goal, it's taking a draw here, right? So recapping predictions for Liverpool versus Wolverhampton Wanderers, I'm expecting Liverpool to win. Both teams to score. In terms of double chance, I go with either to win and both to score. In terms of predicted scoreline, I'm saying 2-1 here in favor of Liverpool. And in terms of the handicap system, I'm gonna have to take a draw based on my predicted scoreline. Alright. And for this particular game, Wolverhampton Wanderers versus Liverpool, as you can see, Liverpool side of football, you have Mohamed Salah. He's due a goal now. As well as I don't think Jota will be ready, and I don't think Nunez is going to be ready. No, not Darwin. Nunez, Diaz, I should say. I don't think he's going to be ready for Denver, but if Klopp will be hoping that he comes back soon. Himself and Jota, as well as Firmino, those guys are needed back because Liverpool are struggling to find the goals. Yeah. In terms of Wolverhampton Wanderers, you have Jimenez, you have Cunha, you have Podence, and you have Ruben Neves. All of those guys can come up and score for you at any given point in this game. Alright, so those are my predictions for Wolverhampton Wanderers versus Liverpool. And now we're going to move on to our next game, which is Newcastle United versus West Ham United. And for this particular game, I'm expecting Newcastle to carry on their winning ways, and I'm saying both teams should not score here. In terms of double chance, I'll go with either team to win and both not to score, and I'm saying Newcastle win this one 2-0. And in terms of the handicap system, I'm going to go ahead and take Newcastle to win by a goal. Alright, so recapping predictions for Newcastle United versus West Ham United, I'm expecting Newcastle to win. I'm expecting both teams not to score. In terms of double chance, I'll go with either team to win and both not to score. Predicted scoreline, I'm saying here 2-0 in favor of Newcastle. And in terms of the handicap system, I'll go ahead and take Newcastle to win by a goal, as you can see here at 2.70. Alright, so those are my predictions for Newcastle United versus West Ham, and now we're going to move on over to our next game, which is Nottingham Forest versus Leeds. And this is a very important game for both teams and for both managers. I like what Justin Marsh is doing at Leeds. As I said, they've kept up the tempo with Leeds, but Leeds seem to be a bit unfortunate. And I think they have a very good proper players building together. So even if they exit the Premiership, I think they should try and keep all of those guys together, and then they'll be back up the following season. And they come back up, then they should try and consolidate and do some good work. They have a really good set of players. As it really is Nottingham Forest, I think Nottingham Forest is they're having some chemistry issues. I thought they should have changed the coach last year rather than giving him a new contract. They should have changed the coach. Yeah, they should have changed the coach, but that's they're gonna have to live with the consequences at the end of the season. Yeah. But Nottingham Forest versus Leeds, I'm saying here Leeds to win this one, and both teams to score. In terms of a combination bet, I go with either team to win and both to score. Predicted score line, I'm saying here, hey, Leeds wins this one 3-1. In terms of the handicap system, I'm going ahead and taking Leeds to win this one by a goal. Alright. In terms of the time goal score for this game, and the Leeds side of football, you have Rodrigo, you have Bamford, who seems to have just come back. You have Ganato, the young Italian, yeah. Full of energy, he can get something for you as well. As well as Harrison, and you have Brennan Johnson as well. Brennan Aronson rather. Brennan Johnson is on the other side of the football, which is for Nottingham Forest. He could score as well. And in terms of Nottingham Forest, Gibbs White gets opportunities but doesn't score very often. There are other folks there, they're going to have to try and step up. Lingard, a shadow of himself, he should have went back to West Ham in my opinion. I think he'd have had a way better season, and he would have been doing way better now. Yeah, but decision made, and so therefore that's the hindsight is 2020. But anyways, let's jump back to recap for this game, Nottingham Forest versus Leeds. I'm expecting Leeds to win here at 2.60. In terms of both teams scoring, I'm saying yes, that should be the case. In terms of double chance, I'll go with either team to win and both to score. Predicted scoreline 3-1 in favor of Leeds, I do believe. In terms of the handicap system, I'm going to take Leeds to win this one by a goal. Alright, so those are my predictions for Nottingham Forest versus Leeds, and now we're going to move on to the final game for this year game week, which is Nottingham Hotspurs versus Manchester City. Now this is another interesting game, one in which we expect Conte to sit back and wait for the opportunity to score. And I think depending on what happens in the day, then one Mr. Erwin Haaland could create a disaster for them, and so therefore I'm gonna take City to win here, Manchester City to win, and both teams not to score. And in terms of double chance, I'll go with either team to win and both not to score. Predicted score line here, I'm saying that Manchester City wins this one 3-0. Alright, in terms of handicap system, we're taking City to win by a goal. Alright, so recapping predictions here for Tottenham Hotspurs versus Manchester City. I'm expecting Manchester City to win, expecting both teams not to score as well. In terms of double chance, I'll go with either team to win and both not to score. In terms of scoreline, 3-0 in favor of Manchester City. And in terms of the handicap system, I'm going to go ahead and take Manchester City to win this one by a goal. Alright, so those were my predictions for Tottenham Hotspurs versus Manchester City. And remember, folks, taking notes while you're watching these videos. And also, I'm asking you to spread the word about the channel and with everybody, your friends and family members alike. And so therefore, folks, I wish you happy betting and wish you the best of luck on all your betting slips. And thank you for your time. Thank you for all these months, and thank you for all that you are doing for my channel. Alright then, thank you and have a great weekend. Thanks.